Israel emerged from the trauma of the Holocaust, surrounded by hostile neighbors and haunted by the fear of annihilation. Its leaders, especially David Ben-Gurion, believed that only an ultimate deterrent could guarantee survival in a region where conventional military strength might not suffice. Israel's small size and lack of strategic depth made it uniquely vulnerable to invasion. The Suez Crisis of 1956 reinforced the lesson that international allies could not always be relied upon. Ben-Gurion concluded that Israel needed an independent, decisive deterrent, nuclear weapons, to ensure its existence. The nuclear project was driven by a defensive logic. Never again would the Jewish people be powerless. This philosophy became the foundation of Israel's pursuit of the bomb, a last resort insurance policy for national survival. In the tumultuous years following its establishment, Israel faced numerous existential threats. Amidst this backdrop of regional instability and constant conflict, the nation embarked on a clandestine journey into the realm of nuclear technology. Israel's nuclear journey began soon after its founding, with the creation of a secret scientific unit and the Israel Atomic Energy Commission in 1952. This commission was tasked with exploring the potential of atomic energy for peaceful purposes, but beneath the surface, a more strategic objective was taking shape. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion appointed Ernst David Bergman, a brilliant scientist and staunch advocate for technological advancement, to lead the effort. Simultaneously, the young and ambitious Shimon Peres became the program's chief architect and international negotiator, responsible for securing vital resources and partnerships from abroad. His diplomatic skills would prove crucial in navigating the complex international landscape. To build the necessary expertise, Israeli scientists were sent to train abroad, gaining crucial knowledge and skills under seemingly benign civilian programs like Atoms for Peace, an initiative designed to promote the peaceful use of nuclear technology worldwide. This provided a valuable cover for Israel's true intentions. Domestically, a small research reactor at Nahal Sorek, Israel's first nuclear facility, provided hands-on experience for a new generation of nuclear scientists and engineers. However, its capabilities were too limited for weapons production, serving primarily as a training ground and a platform for basic research. The entire project operated under extreme secrecy, shrouded in a veil of national security. It was managed directly by the Ministry of Defense, with information tightly controlled and access granted only to a select few, effectively hidden from most of the government. This strict compartmentalization shielded the program from international scrutiny and potential interference, especially from the ever-watchful eyes of the United States, Israel's most important ally, but also a potential source of pressure. The early years were a period of intense learning and development, focused on building the necessary expertise and infrastructure, meticulously setting the stage for the next, more ambitious phase of the program. The triumvirate of Ben-Gurion, with his unwavering vision, Bergman, the scientific mastermind, and Peres, the resourceful negotiator, relentlessly pushed the project forward, overcoming countless obstacles and defying all odds. In the tumultuous landscape of the 1950s, France emerged as Israel's indispensable partner, forging a bond that would reshape the geopolitical dynamics of the Middle East. This alliance wasn't born out of mere convenience. It was a strategic alignment driven by mutual interests and a shared perception of threats looming on the horizon. Both nations found themselves united by shared enemies, particularly the rising tide of Arab nationalism, and a common desire to safeguard their strategic interests in a region fraught with instability. The Suez Canal crisis further solidified this partnership, highlighting the need for collaboration in the face of regional challenges. In the aftermath of the Suez Crisis, a pivotal moment that underscored the vulnerabilities of both nations, the young and ambitious Shimon Peres, recognizing the existential threats facing Israel, embarked on a clandestine mission to secure a secret deal, a groundbreaking agreement that would see France provide Israel with a heavy water reactor, a critical component for developing nuclear capabilities. This was more than just a transaction. It was a lifeline. The deal also included a plutonium reprocessing plant, a facility essential for extracting plutonium from spent nuclear fuel, providing Israel with key components and the know-how necessary to potentially develop a weapons program. This was a game-changer, offering Israel a path to strategic deterrence. The transfer of French engineers and their advanced technology was instrumental and directly enabled the construction of the Dimona facility, a project shrouded in secrecy and ambition. This facility was strategically located in the remote and desolate Negev desert, far from prying eyes and potential threats. The entire collaboration was meticulously shrouded in secrecy, a necessity given the sensitive nature of the project and the potential repercussions. To maintain plausible deniability, both countries went to great lengths to disguise the project as a civilian enterprise, emphasizing its potential for peaceful applications of nuclear energy. However, the political landscape shifted dramatically when Charles de Gaulle came to power in France. Under increasing diplomatic pressure from the United States, wary of nuclear proliferation in the Middle East, France gradually withdrew its support for the Dimona project. But by then, Israel had already acquired what it needed: the knowledge, the technology, and the infrastructure to move forward. The French connection provided Israel with an invaluable technological head start, accelerating its nuclear ambitions by years, if not decades. This head start allowed Israel to pursue the development of nuclear weapons independently, solidifying its position as a regional power. This covert partnership between France and Israel was undoubtedly the turning point, a watershed moment in the history of the Middle East. It was the catalyst that transformed Israel's nuclear ambitions from a distant dream into a tangible reality, forever altering the strategic calculus of the region. And so, by the mid-1960s, with the Dimona reactor nearing completion, Israel, standing on the shoulders of its former ally, was ready to move forward alone, embarking on a path toward a self-sufficient nuclear program that would shape its destiny for decades to come. The Dimona reactor became the heart of Israel's nuclear program, built under intense secrecy and security. American intelligence discovered the facility in 1960, sparking a diplomatic crisis. President Kennedy demanded inspections, but Israel allowed only carefully staged visits, hiding the true purpose of Dimona. This cat-and-mouse game led Israel to adopt a policy of nuclear ambiguity, never confirming or denying its capabilities. The ambiguity allowed Israel to deter its enemies while avoiding international backlash and sanctions. The Dimona crisis cemented this unique posture, which became central to Israel's nuclear strategy. Israel's leaders realized that secrecy was as important as the bomb itself. The policy of amimut, opacity, has defined Israel's approach ever since. It remains a cornerstone of Israeli security to this day. On the eve of the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel is believed to have assembled its first nuclear devices. The Dimona reactor and reprocessing plant had produced enough plutonium for 1 or 2 bombs. Facing existential threats, Israeli leaders prepared a last resort plan, the Samson option, to demonstrate nuclear capability if defeat seemed imminent. Israel's swift victory made using the bomb unnecessary, but the deterrent value was now proven. After 1967, Israel refined its arsenal, developing warheads for aircraft and ballistic missiles. By the 1973 Yom Kippur War, Israel's nuclear capability was more robust, reportedly prompting U.S. intervention during the conflict's darkest hours. The nuclear deterrent became an integral part of Israel's security doctrine. The global reaction to Israel's nuclear program has been complex, a delicate dance of international relations. It's been a mix of quiet acceptance, strategic ambiguity, and for the most part, public silence. Nations have chosen their words carefully, navigating the sensitive geopolitical landscape. The U.S. initially expressed opposition, raising concerns about nuclear proliferation in the volatile Middle East. However, over time, this stance evolved into a tacit understanding, a pragmatic acceptance of the situation. The unwritten agreement was that as long as Israel maintained its nuclear program in secrecy and refrained from conducting overt tests, Washington would, in essence, look the other way, avoiding direct confrontation on the issue. This don't ask, don't tell policy, a carefully constructed facade, became the bedrock of U.S.-Israel relations, a cornerstone of their strategic alliance. The Soviets, and later Russia, perceived Israel's nuclear arsenal as a strategic complication, a factor that added another layer of complexity to the already intricate geopolitical landscape of the region. Conversely, Arab states viewed it as an insurmountable deterrent, a game-changing capability that fundamentally altered the balance of power. Israel, for its part, enforced secrecy through a combination of strict laws, stringent regulations, and harsh penalties for those who dared to breach the veil. The consequences of revealing state secrets were severe, as vividly illustrated in the infamous Vanunu affair. This policy of ambiguity allows Israel to enjoy the benefits of nuclear deterrence without triggering crippling international sanctions or igniting a full-blown regional arms race. By maintaining strategic silence, Israel keeps its potential adversaries guessing about the true extent of its capabilities and, in doing so, arguably contributes to a fragile but persistent strategic stability in the region. The bomb in the basement, whether acknowledged or not, remains a powerful and often unspoken force that shapes the dynamics of Middle Eastern politics. Israel's nuclear program reshaped the Middle East, ensuring its survival and deterring existential threats. The success of the program was built on secrecy, determination, and foreign assistance. Israel's policy of ambiguity has prevented full-scale wars and avoided diplomatic isolation. The program exposed the limits of international non-proliferation efforts, influencing global policy. Dimona's story is a cautionary tale about the challenges of stopping nuclear proliferation. For Israelis, the bomb is the ultimate guarantor of sovereignty and security. The legacy of Israel's nuclear project continues to shape the region and global security to this day.